You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Solana, the Herons are back. Welcome everybody to episode number 227 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, for some Cafecito with the Herons is Mr. Daniel Solana. How are you doing, sir?
Like I told you, bro, I could have used a couple more hours of sleep, but other than that, nothing makes me happier than waking up early and talking some football with you every Tuesday morning. So, happy to be up.
Well, what's funny about what you just said is that I myself only got about 4 hours, give or take, of sleep over last night. My fault, obviously, it's my fault because I ended up staying up to watch the grand finale of Parks and Rec. You ever watch that show?
Nah, I've never seen it.
Well, I watched it because everybody always said, "Oh, it's like another The Office," because The Office is my favorite sitcom of all time. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's like just like another The Office." So I was like, "F it, I'm gonna give it a chance," and it ended up being good. It's not The Office, nowhere near The Office, but it's good enough where me and my wife watched it over the last, I want to say, 2 months since the summer started, and last night was the finale, and we ended up just kind of binging the last 3 episodes. So yes, I got about 4 hours of sleep, so here I am, and enjoying some cafecito. So cheers to you, sir.
Cheers. I mean, you're gonna get mad at me, and I'm probably gonna get just slammed in the comments. But can you believe I've never watched one episode of The Office?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you watch sitcoms at all?
Yeah, sometimes I
Okay,
used
so you're not
to.
a big sitcom person, because I'm a big sitcom person. I like when it comes to movies. My favorite genre is comedy. Like that's and it's weird because my wife makes fun of me because I'm not much of a laugher. Right? I've said it on the show. I don't really cry too much, not because I don't want to. I wish I could cry more, and I don't laugh too much, not because I don't want to, but because it doesn't come natural to me. I can chuckle, right? You'll hear me chuckle all the time. Like that's it. But like a loud laugh. Maybe that's why I like comedy so much because I'm looking for it.
Right.
And just real quick, good morning to everybody out here that's joining us at 7 a.m. Buenos dias, Celine. And actually today, for the first time with Cafecito with the Herons, we're actually going to take call-ins. So maybe we'll get to hear some people from different parts of the world call into the show.
Absolutely.
But we're going to do that. We'll do that a little later. But real quick, before we get off this, I do want to know. So you don't watch sitcoms?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think the last sitcoms that I've watched, maybe like, I don't know, Full House, Family Matters.
God damn, that's like the early 90s.
Saved by the Bell, yeah. That's the ones that I watched. Saved by the Bell, The Wonder Years. Love The Wonder Years.
God damn.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I might be like a 50-year-old dude.
Yeah. So you never watched Friends, Seinfeld? Nothing. Wow, dude. Big Bang Theory.
Nope.
Oh, we got to get you on some of those, dude.
Yeah,
what about Boy Meets World?
Yeah, I watched Boy Meets World. Okay, I tried to watch the one that came after. Like I think
Girl Meets World.
Girl Meets World, but
I never watched that.
Couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't see Corey Matthews and Topanga as parents, bro. It was kind of awkward.
Well, were they they were part of the show?
Yeah, they were the parents of a girl. Basically, it was the same thing as Boy Meets World, except they were the parents and they had a daughter.
That's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that they were also involved in the spinoff.
Yeah, I'm more of a. I don't know. I like watching like miniseries on Netflix or on HBO. Like for example, I just watched one on Apple TV. It's called Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's fantastic. It's a thriller. Like a suspense thriller. It's really, really good. So that's more of my style. Like I would like to watch I like watching more like docuseries, like more about like World War II, understanding that stuff. But that's me. I'm just like a history buff.
I love history also, but I love me a good sitcom. And yes, and Park Rex kept me up until 2 a.m. So yes, not a lot of sleep for me last night. But again, my fault. All right. Anyway, so getting on to the pitch. So we got plenty of stuff to talk about. I don't know if you want to start with Diego Gomez. The news broke yesterday that he will be sold for probably a little less than what we had originally heard. And now you and Xavier on the Spanish show last night told me that you still believe that it's going to be until December. But I am yet to hear any of the, because the new reports were coming out yesterday. But I am yet to hear any of the new reports really specify when the transfer is going to take place. So, what do you think? One, of the new price range in which we sold them, and two, do you really think that we're going to keep them until the winter time?
I mean, everything that I've read, points to that way. But we have heard some rumblings over the last, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours or something, over the night, where some folks said that, he's really pushing to go. So if that were the case, I mean, look, it really, lies on the player here. It depends on if he wants to be here. Now, my question to you, Danny, is let's say, he does stay until December, but the player doesn't want to stay till December. Then you have somebody who's going to be maybe disgruntled, not giving it his all. So do you want him to stay is the question. We haven't heard anything. The only thing that I've read right now, I keep looking, and I'm looking through Twitter, but I don't see anything. I don't see anything at all other than the fact that it's a done deal.
Well, and that's what's worried, because the thing is, when it initially broke, the news was like two parts. It was like the fee and the fact that he was staying until winter. And everybody that was reporting it made sure to include both of those. And then yesterday, when everybody's reporting like it's just about a done deal, nobody is bringing that specific part up. And to me, it's a little weird, because the original news, everybody made sure to like, hey, but just so you know, this is pretty cool. He's staying until winter. But yesterday, nobody's bringing that up. So to me, it strikes me a little odd that nobody brought it up yesterday. Maybe it still is going to be until the winter time, but that did strike me as odd. And I'm waiting for somebody to kind of come out and let us know what the deal is there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still looking. The only thing that I found a couple of accounts. I mean, this is a pretty decently followed account. It's got over 10,000 followers. It's called Hechos Pelotas, and they said it. It was 9 hours ago that they tweeted. They said Diego Gómez se quedará hasta fin de año a pedido de Tata Martínez. So it's basically, to translate, that he'll stay until the end of the year, as Tata Martino has asked for that. But again, if he asked for that and the player doesn't want to stay, what kind of Diego Gómez are you going to get for the second half of the year? So that's something that you also have to take into account, right?
For sure. No, like you said. But, I mean, when you're getting to play with Messi, I feel like that is the caveat here, right? Like, who's really going to, like, if you end up staying for an extra, how many months would that be, right? August to October, like an extra 4 months. Right? 4 months. You stay for an extra 3-4 months. You play with Messi, and you also get to, let's say, hypothetically, they win the MLS Cup, and you get to win a trophy. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world either. And if he plays well, it's just going to make Brighton even happier and everybody even more excited. I think it's a win-win. And, like, yeah, he might start for Brighton immediately. But, a lot of times the way this works, MLS players get over there and maybe they have to work their way into the starting 11. I don't see this as a bad move for him if he were to stay until December.
No, I don't either. I don't see it as a bad move for anybody involved. But I will tell you this, and again, I you know me, I always love playing devil's advocate, and I like playing the other side of the field and challenging you and Chris and all that, which is what makes it fun. Right. If he stays and he plays his ass off, and we win the MLS Cup, don't you think he'd be valued at maybe like $5, $6, $7, $8 million more? Wouldn't you as a fan be a little bit not upset, because look, the deal's done. It is what it is. But
if he ends up being the engine, right?
Right. What if, like, Inter Miami wins the MLS Cup and like he has like 3-4 goals, during the MLS Cup run? He's clearly one of the best players in the midfielder. Like, aren't you as a fan going to be like, damn, man, I wish we could have sold him for 20 instead of 14 or whatever?
I can see what you're saying. In the MLS though, although I know that selling for a higher price mark is makes you feel like we did more as a club and we're looked at as like, okay, our club is taken seriously as sellers or whatever. Like, that money, we can't do anything with that money. At least us as fans, like, you can't do anything with it. So if anything, it's just Jorge Mas missing out on money in his pockets, because there's a salary cap here. We can't turn around and put that into use on signing other players. So
you only get a portion too, because I think the final sale was like 14 million, and I just read Libertad gets 5.5, so that leaves about 8.5 million, and Inter Miami gets a portion, and then the league gets a portion. So we were talking about it yesterday on the Spanish show. I think they're left with like 6 million, 7 million, or something like that, of which only a certain percentage they can actually use to invest in another player. So the rules are really weird amongst all that. I gotta get a little bit more refined on those rules, but it's just a little weird.
And like I said, it looks good, right? Good business, right? Because you want your team to be recognized as a team that buys players at a low point, sells them at a high point. That means your team is doing well in developing a lot of these guys. So I understand the concept of you want to sell high, but ultimately, and I understand the point you were trying to make, but at this point, if we sell him now, and his price could have gone up, like, I understand why it would look better, but for us as fans, it wouldn't have made a difference. We could sell him for 100 mil, and Jorge Mas is going to keep that money, and they couldn't do anything with it as far as getting other players, so it doesn't really make a difference. They need to change this salary cap thing with this league, though.
I agree, and they said so. From what I heard in the summer meetings, they said that in the winter there's going to be some big changes coming. Now, they said that last year, and everybody expected a fourth DP, and it didn't happen. And now, in the summer, they come up with new rule change. This is weird because this might be the only league that makes
mid-season,
roster mid-season changes and like rule changes and stuff. But it's cool because it kind of, I don't know, it kind of allows teams to make different types of moves in the middle of the season, which is cool because now they can make a decision if they want an extra DP or if they want another U22, and that's good for some of the teams.
I think the reason they did it, honestly, is because the biggest transfer window is the summer, right? Because that's when the European League is off, and that's when players are more willing to move. So they couldn't wait until January because players they're in Champions League, they're in whatever tournaments they may be in, and they don't want to leave a team mid-season. So I think that's why they did it, and I don't think we're going to see big changes coming up this offseason. I think what we saw now was what we might have seen at the end of the year.
Could be. I mean, but you got to hold out hope that at least that there's going to be some salary cap changes or something. So I'm going to hold out hope that they do make, if it's not big changes, at least some change. So we'll see what happens in December.
And Dennis, the selling player stuff is odd. Only sport that does this. This is the only sport that does this. 100%.
Actually, it's not. It's the only sport in the United States that does this. But all over the world, like the basketball, like FIBA. If you ever watch like Eurobasket or any of that, it's exactly the same way. The players are sold and bought exactly the same way in Europe and South America as they are in soccer. So it's just in American sports that it doesn't happen. In every other sport, it happens.
Mm-hmm. And shalom to Sabayo. I hope I pronounced your name right. And then Steven Rodriguez says, football ain't football or basketball. That's small scale stuff. Football is better. Okay. And shout out to Anonymous M from France. Ooh. I've been watching a lot of French TV with the Olympics on, so that should be been a lot of TV time over there in France. Good morning to you both from Toronto. Shout out to Janet joining us from Toronto. All right. Moving on. Leagues Cup. We were having a conversation yesterday about boycotts and attendance and the fact that the tickets were included. And for those of you that haven't watched already yesterday's episode, I'll put up the graphic. I contacted teams from across the league, and I was able to get an answer from everybody except for one team, DC United, on who or what team included the Leagues Cup in the season ticket package. Now, they only included group stage games, which makes sense, right? Because you don't know if they're going to make it to the knockout stage, so you can't charge people for that. And of those teams, 21 teams included Leagues Cup games in their season ticket package, and only 7 teams did not. Now, I think it would be smart to include it because you avoid having empty stadiums, right? Because if somebody already has the ticket, they might show up. So we were faced with this issue, and then you and I were going back and forth about this a little bit as far as season tickets and how I feel like season ticket holders should get more. What are your thoughts on just the League's Cup being included and not included? Because I think that if for MLS that wants to push this so bad, even though a lot of teams are including it, MLS wants to push League's Cup so bad, I think they should include it just to help with the attendance issue, because there's people that think that the boycott's working, and it might be that some people just don't want to buy an extra ticket outside of the money that they're already spending on season tickets.
Could be, but look, Danny, in Atlanta, they gave him tickets, and how many people showed up? 3,000?
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was more than 3,000. I think it was 12,000. But 12,000 in a stadium that fits 80 looks like that. I mean, that was a horrible look, that Atlanta look. And what's the best part is that was the example that Don Garber gave just a few days before about, I don't want to spend money to fill up a big stadium like Atlanta and it be half empty. And right away, the first game of the League's Cup, it happened. So I thought that was very ironic. But yeah, I believe it was 12,000 at that game.
It's also unfortunate that they had to play another MLS team, because had they played a Liga MX team with the big population of Mexican fans that lives in the greater Atlanta area, I guarantee you they would have had much more of fans showing up. So you also have to look at it that way, Danny. And we haven't talked about that yet on any show. The fact that who you draw could make a difference in who who's gonna go watch. Imagine if Miami would have drawn 2 MLS teams instead of 2 Liga MX teams. God forbid, without Messi, probably nobody would have shown up, just because of the fact, maybe not nobody would have shown up, but maybe you would have got less than if you would have had the Puebla. Because look, it wasn't like last year where there was a lot of Cruz Azul fans, but there were some Puebla fans sprinkled in amongst the stadium. Absolutely. We had a gentleman sitting behind Chris and I, and and thank you, by the way, for those of you that didn't hear last night, Danny gave me his tickets for the game. So there was a Danny sitting in his seats, and he was sitting next to Chris. And so thank you for the tickets. But yeah, man, right behind us, there was a gentleman, older gentleman, big time diehard Puebla fan. He was just annihilating the Puebla players. He yelled every bad word he could at them. He told them that they sucked. I mean, this guy was like, you could tell, like a really diehard, old school Puebla fan. So they didn't get that in Atlanta. They played another MLS team. So I think that's a little bit unfortunate.
And it was DC United, so it wasn't even that great of an MLS team. So
it was a Friday night. And it was a Friday night at 7:30, which if you've ever been to Atlanta, I don't know if you have, but Atlanta might be probably after LA. Yeah, but after LA, it's got to be the worst city for traffic in the United States. LA, New York, and Atlanta. Those are like the top 3. And then Miami somewhere in there. But imagine getting out of work and having to get to, downtown Atlanta, which is where the stadium is out, to get to the game on Friday at 7:30. It's not easy. I
mean, they have. I don't know how good their public transportation is.
It's decent. It's decent.
I know. When I went, it's called Martha.
Yeah, and the Marta.
Yeah, is it
Marta? Yeah,
Marta. And I remember I was like, "What? Why is?"
But we can call it Martha. That's kind of more. I like that. That's funny.
That's what my wife and I were calling it every time we saw it. Oh, look, it's another Martha. So, but yeah. So the issue with us is that we don't have any public transportation that gets us to. Like, I know we have the Bright Line that leaves you off somewhere, and then you got to take another bus from there to the stadium.
It's too much, man. It's too much.
Yeah, it's not convenient. Like, you want convenience. And so I'm hoping that changes with the new ballpark.
You'll be able to take the Metro Rail all the way to the stadium.
Yes, and my brother was telling me that
it'll cost you $4 to park, and I think it's $250 or $275. I don't know if they raised the prices on the Metro Rail, but it'll cost you $4 to park and $3 to go. So for $7, you can go and you can take a couple of 20-ounce beers if you want. I'm not promoting any of that, but you're not drinking and driving. So if you want to have a couple beers on the way to the stadium, you're more than welcome to on the Metro Rail.
Yeah. I mean, you see some.
That's how I'm going to go. When I go to the games, I'm going Metro Rail.
The thing is, man, it's going to be such a pain in the butt. It's going to get so packed.
Nah, that's what you think. But you would think that for Heat games as well. But for Heat games, it doesn't get packed.
I've never gone to Heat games on the Metro. I always drive.
Now I drive because I prefer to have my car with me in case I gotta go somewhere, And now that I have a son, in case I have to get up and leave or I go with him, I'd rather have my car. But before, I would go on the train. It was really convenient. You just leave right there at Dayland North, and you're there in 15 minutes. So it's a really, if you're looking for an inexpensive way to get to the game, it's an inexpensive way because it's $7 versus paying $30-$40 parking.
So my brother, because I ride with my brother to all the games, and he's like, yeah, when the new stadium's here, I'm taking the metro. And I'm like, damn, should I do the same thing or should I keep driving? So it's gonna be interesting. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna go somewhere with that, and then we just got off topic. But it's gonna be interesting. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it comes to parking.
And just to answer Mitch's question really quick. So he says that there's plans for an airport extension to the Bright Line. So the Bright Line already takes you to the Metro Rail. So you could take the Bright Line from Orlando right now all the way to downtown Miami, switch onto the Metro Rail, and that takes you, it's going to be maybe like a 10-minute Metro Rail ride to, to the airport. So it already exists. So that's just to answer your question.
And Jan is asking, is Uber available there? I'm not sure if you mean Miami in general. But yes, we have Uber down here, so you can Uber to the games.
It's expensive.
And I don't know how the traffic's going to be. But I think that's going to be the biggest question. But for those wondering, Peter Brown on Football Miami TV does updates. If you guys want to check out, I'm sure he put up a video, I believe, recently about the updates. I haven't watched, so I don't know what he shows, but I do know whatever the hell pilings are, those are done. I'm assuming that's what you have to do before you start with the foundation. So there is progress being done. So we should be moving along quickly to get to seeing something going on vertically, right? Because that's when things start getting exciting. Once you start seeing the vertical construction, you're like, oh, okay, here we go. So and we got an email. I guess that'll transition us over to today. We got an email yesterday. And for those of you that are on audio, I'll read it. Unless Solana, do you want to make the honors of reading this out quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So it says 2025 season ticket member renewals. Great news. We will be commencing 2025 season ticket member renewal starting tomorrow or today, July 30th. You will be receiving an exclusive email to have your chance to renew for the final season at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. You'll be receiving your own personalized link that will give you all the information you need, including pricing, early renewal incentives, new member benefits, payment options, and more. Of course, I will be here to support you however you need with any questions you might have after receiving the email. Please be on the lookout for your email tomorrow. Kind regards, your season ticket rep.
So it's official for anybody that wasn't sure. They are now announcing it. Next year is the final season at Chase Stadium. And also, for anybody that thought that it's possible that we might play in the new stadium next year, that's not happening. Okay? The new stadium, we're going to play in it in 2026. 2025 is going to be the last year, which is great because I'm sick of driving an hour, sometimes more, to the stadium. I'm really excited about the stadium being in Miami.
I'm with you.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And before we keep going on this topic, I did want to touch on a couple of things that I just saw here pop up on the chat. Jason L is saying, off topic, but they are apparently cracking down on the jersey sellers in the parking lot. We saw a police officer tackle 2 of them on Saturday and take their stuff. Were you aware of this, Solana?
I was not. I saw that last year a couple of times, with people who were selling on the property. If you haven't been to the stadium yet this year, they put a fence up, where usually you were allowed to go in, and kind of enjoy the atmosphere around the stadium before. Now you can't do that. Now you need to go into the stadium before you can enjoy that atmosphere. Correct. Mm-hmm. And I saw, them cracking down on folks selling in that area last year, never in the parking lot. So I didn't see that, Jason. I wish I would have. Would have been pretty cool to see a police officer tackle a couple dudes because I think it's I think it's annoying. I understand why they do it, but I think it's kind of annoying. Like, you're trying to get out of the stadium, you're trying to get to your car, and you have these people that are in front of you $15 Messi hats, $15 Messi hats. Like, bro, I don't want to buy a Messi hat. If I wanted to buy a Messi hat, I would have bought it before the game. I want to go home, buddy. Like, move. But they're all in front of you, blocking you, just showing,
I don't mind
shoving
it.
the jerseys in their face. I don't know,
I
man.
don't
I just
mind
want to get to my car and get home.
I don't know. When you buy it after the game is when you get it for the cheapest price because they're trying to get rid of all of it.
I mean, I guess I have my own distributor, my own plug in terms of where I get my jerseys from. I'm not spending $190 on a jersey.
That's in the store. But look, when it comes to my kids, bootlegs all day because they grow out of it. They dirty the hell out of them. I don't buy
but
them.
I'll tell you, man, my guy has much better quality than the guys that are in the parking lot. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, but does he charge $15-$20 like they do in the parking lot?
I'll get you a good price.
All right, we'll talk later about that. All right, and then what in that email also, they said that we are going to get season ticket holders should be looking out for a gift. Now I know Solana has some thoughts on people that want gifts as season ticket members, but we were curious as to what it could possibly be. Now on yesterday's show, and I'll say it again, in the comment section, please go ahead and put what you think the gift could be. It could be a realistic thing, it could be funny, whatever you want. Best comment at the end of the week, we're going to give a free shirt to. Now, Factual Fruit actually said that he thinks that it would be a really cool gift if we get a piece of the actual field. Like just a piece of it, to commemorate Chase Stadium. Now, because we're still going to play there next year, I don't think that's going to happen, right? Because we're not going to commemorate this season if we're going to play there next season also. But I thought that was interesting, maybe for next year. Solana, any ideas on what it could be, and why do you hate free things?
I don't hate free things. Everybody loves free things, but I just don't. I'm not part of the group who thinks that because I'm part of a season ticket membership or a season ticket holder, I deserve to get something from the team. Now, I could understand if that's not a bad gift, and I'm gonna give you what I think the gift is gonna be or what I think it should be, and I think it'd be a pretty cool gift. So I'm gonna throw it out there, but let me keep going with my rant for a second. So talking about not wanting free things and stuff, it's not that. It's just that look, if the team sucks, then yes, I do believe you're paying money. They should give you something for watching them suck all year. That I do agree with. But if the team is the best team in the league and they're giving you week after week, you're watching good or above average football, where the last 3 years of the team, you've been stuck watching garbage football. Then
wait. Let me stop you there. The season before Messi got here, we were a playoff team. I just want to make sure I put that out there. Go ahead.
You're a playoff team because Pozuelo got here.
We were still
in
a
the
playoff
last
team.
3 months. Great, that's awesome. They still was awful soccer. It was almost impossible to watch when they were playing that way.
That was a fun season for me.
That's good, bro. I'm glad. But for me, it was impossible to watch. I mean, I still watched it, but it was tough. But anyways, so that's just what I think. Now, what do I think would be a good gift? A mate, an Inter Miami commemorative mate with your own thermos, also Inter Miami thermos, and then they give you a bombilla, maybe with like a little Messi or with a little goat on it or something like that. That I think would be really cool. Why? Because it takes a piece from the team, something that Messi, Suarez, and some of the other guys do, and I think it would be, you could use it or you could put it as just like un adorno, no? Like as something up on your thing. I think it would be a nice thing.
I think I like that. I mean, I don't know how much use people would get out of it, just because I don't think everybody knows the whole process of mate, even though they can go and watch Solana's videos. He shows you how to make mate. But I think that's a cool idea. I like that. I like that. That's an interesting idea. And you said something about a pink or a goat. I'm gonna tell you right now, real quick, how I'm ruining my son. Just a quick story. My sister-in-law, she works with kids, and she does some things where she kind of just she plays some activities with my kids, right? And she was asking my son to name a couple things, and she said to name an animal that's pink and has a tail. The answer was pig. He couldn't think of that. he said a goat. And we're like, what? What do you mean a goat? He's like, Messi, pink, goat. And I realized then that I have too much of an influence over my kids because I'm ruining him, because he says that in school he's gonna look like an idiot. So
no,
just
man,
wanted to put that out there.
You're not ruining him, bro. He's just thinking at a much higher, different level than the rest of us. Let me tell you, my kid is very similar. Kids are brutally honest, which is a good thing and a bad thing at sometimes. But let me tell you, man, these kids nowadays are thinking at levels much higher than we were thinking when we were their age. So I don't think you're ruining him at all. Keep teaching him exactly what you're teaching him. He's learning the right thing.
And shout out to Optimus Prime out from Jamaica. Appreciate you joining us. And then Peter says, how about something that appeals to everyone? Mate does not taste good. Ooh. And I've never had mate. I'm still waiting on Solana. He said he's going to give me my first bit of mate. But I'm not sharing a straw with you. So, bombilla, whatever you call it. All right. And your sin is playing chess. We're playing checkers. All right. So back to today. So today we're expecting this email with a chance to renew our tickets. Now, usually those emails usually get to us around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., give or take. And rumor is that we're going to get another price increase. Now, I know that you say that because we have the best team and we have the greatest player of all time, it makes sense. But we just got our tickets doubled last year. To me, it doesn't make sense to immediately raise it, especially after a CCC elimination, after Messi has played only 7.5 out of the 13 games that we played at home so far. To me, personally, I don't see why. Why is there an increase from last year to this year? I understood initially to double us, or some people even more than double. It made sense to me. It's a big change. But what exactly is changing from this year to next year that they have to increase it again? Now, again, these are all speculations. Maybe they aren't going to increase. But if they do, I don't see the reason that they're going to give us behind why there's an increase now again, right after such a large increase the year before.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm on the side of the fans here. I don't think another increase is warranted. Now, mind you, I don't have season tickets, so I don't know, what the cost was last year and how much it went up. And I know everybody said that it went up a lot, it doubled. But anything more than like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% at most raise is just too much. I think I was talking to Chris during the game, and I asked him, because I do have Heat season tickets, and I was trying to,
make the analogy
with him, right? Do a comparison with him, and say, so I asked him, how much do you guys pay? And he gave me some figures, and I was like, look, this is what I pay per game. Overall, I think the season tickets are about the same. Yeah, I get a lot more games than you do, but that's why the ticket per game is less for me, right?
Of course,
my price per game is less. But again, I'm on your side. I don't think that there should be another increase if there was such a big increase last year. If there is, I understand why they're doing it on the business side, because on the business side, this is a business. They want to make money. Now, is it suck that they're basically extorting, their own fan base? No, it's not good that they're doing that. But like you've said many times in the past, Danny, if you don't go and you give up your season tickets, unfortunately, in Miami, somebody is going to go, and somebody does have the money to pay that. So if they price some people out, other people are going to end up buying those tickets. You said it in the past, and that's the crappy part. That's the part that sucks about all this, because you as a fan want to put a stand and say, hey, no more of this. I'm a loyal fan. Don't keep raising my prices. And they're like, I don't care, because if you don't want to renew, I'll go sell to somebody else. And I don't think that's fair. That's what I'm upset about.
Well, and like I've said, when we were talking about the Leagues Cup boycotts, for example, I'm all about boycotting and protesting. I am all about making yourself be heard. Do it, because I feel like sometimes it makes a difference. Unfortunately, if I were to give up my season tickets, and again, I don't know yet, because if there is a price increase, depending on how much the price increases, I might have to give them up. Not only because of me, but because my wife is going to be like, you're effing crazy. Like we can't keep going. Like she was already questioning if we should keep him once it doubled last year. And like I said on yesterday's show, I'm a transplant from New York, and having season tickets to a team of mine has always been a dream of mine. Like I'm a big sports fan. Having season tickets for a team that I like has always been a dream of mine. So the fact that I was finally able to do that when Inter Miami showed up had me ecstatic. The fact that I would have to give that up really sucks. I really hate that. But whatever, that's a whole nother thing. I forgot where I was going with that.
But I don't know, but you can give up those tickets and we can share my tickets. We can go half and half.
There you go. That's where I was going with it. But the fact that if I were to give these up, I would be losing out on an activity that I like. Something that I love. I love going to live sporting events. That's one of my favorite activities, if not my favorite activity to do outside of hanging out with my family and all that. Even then, I like going with my family. That's why I go to Heat games. That's why I support all local teams, because I love going to live events. But in this case, if I were to try to make a statement by not renewing, and if I were to somehow convince Chris and some people in the chat, like, hey, let's do this, let's be heard, let's hurt them in their pockets, it won't matter next year. Because as long as Messi's here, you have people going. So it sucks in the position that we're in at this very moment, because at this point, it's like you either take it or you don't. But they're not going to really care. And it really does suck the position that we're in right now, because I enjoy going to live sporting events. I love Inter Miami. I want to keep going. But at this moment, it doesn't really feel like we're part of La Familia, because they don't really care. They're not acting like it. And Steve Munoz asked, if there's another 10 to 15% increase, will I still renew? That's a large increase. I would hope that it's not that high. If I would hope that it's not an increase at all. But this would be ridiculous.
What about relocating? Like what about moving 10, 15 rows up to get it maybe cheaper? Or is it not cheaper? I don't know. I don't know the tiering in Chase Stadium.
I will tell you, in Chase Stadium, I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that what I pay for row 1, row 20 also pays. Like, yeah, I believe that in the north and south stand, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not. Basically, those have one price range. And if it's not, it's like row 1 to like row 15. Because I know my brother pays the same thing that I do, and he's like row 9 or 10 in the same section. So moving back won't make much of a difference in the north and south stand.
Okay. I mean, that's good to know, because again, what I compare it to is the Heat games, because that's where I have season tickets. I can tell you, Danny, where I sit, one row under me is $30 more. So, yeah. and I have good. I mean, I'm in 115, row 30. So it's not like I have bad seats. I mean, I have a really good view to the game. I'm in the lower bowl. But if I go to row 29, they're charging me an extra $30 per seat. So it'd be an extra $60 a game. That's ridiculous. So I'm cool sitting where I'm sitting. That's where I sit. They haven't moved my tickets in years, because every time they go up a little bit, I just lock it in for 3 years, and we have that option. That's one thing that the Heat does that Inter Miami, doesn't do, is they allow you to lock in at a certain price. Now I can understand that they haven't done that, because it's only been 4 years or 5 years since they've started as a franchise. So they're still maturing and understanding what they're going to do going forward with their fan base. And I think you've seen the other teams, especially the ones that have given their fans one of the Leagues Cup games for free. Most of those teams have been in the league for a long time. And so they have a clear understanding of who their fan base is, what they want to do with their fan base and all that. And I still think that the Inter Miami front office is still trying to figure all that out. And it's not an easy thing to do.
It's possible. And look, I had talked to my wife and I said, brace yourself, because when that stadium comes, we're going to get another price increase. But I was expecting that after it got doubled last year, I was expecting them to take it easy on us this year and then give us another price increase for the new stadium, a new stadium tax. We got the Messi tax last year. We got the new stadium tax next year. What's the tax this year? Why are we going to get an increase? Again, this is all speculation. Hopefully this is all, when you hear this, you found out that there was no increase, and you're hearing this afterwards, and you're like, oh, well, this conversation was completely pointless because there was no increase. But if there is, I don't see the reason why. I don't see what that email is going to say. I don't see what the explanation is going to be. They're not going to give us free parking. Like, they're not. Last year, they said that supposedly this year, if we renewed, that this year we get to start selecting our seats for the new stadium. That's not happening. Like, so what's the incentive here, or why are they increasing the prices? And at this point, hypothetically, if Messi misses, let's say, the August 24th game or the August 31st game, I could have gone to see those games for a lot cheaper than what I'm paying per game for my season tickets. Like, I'm losing money at this point.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that. I mean,
exactly.
It's because Messi got hurt. But how are you going to know that Messi got hurt? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing for me with the Heat season tickets. Like the years that LeBron was there, God forbid, LeBron never got hurt. That was one of the greatest things that ever happened, because had LeBron gotten hurt, and I will tell you, Danny, even by year 3, year 4 of the Big 3 era of the Heat, it was very hard to sell my tickets. I mean, year one, I was making a killing. The first Heat Knicks game, I sold them for $450 a piece.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it just got hard to sell. And I understand what you're saying. Yeah, the value of your ticket essentially goes down because certain players aren't playing. But at the end of the day, do you buy the ticket as a fan to go watch that player, or are you mad that, I mean, I guess there's nothing that you can really do. Yeah, the tickets were cheaper, but I mean,
but the reason I bring that up isn't because I'm saying that they should have known, or I understand that you don't know, right? And again, I'm not criticizing the price increase for this season. I'm saying for the way things have gone for the first half of the season so far, a little over half of the season, why would they increase the price? Like, the experience we've had from the beginning of the season until at this moment right now, before we receive this email, it doesn't look like it was worth that Messi tax when Messi hasn't played as much, and we don't know when he's going to play. Again, it's not Messi's fault. It's not the front office's fault. But we now know, hey, we're paying this Messi tax, and we might be losing money. So why would you increase our price right now, knowing what we already went through? This is kind of like last season. I remember when we got that doubled price, right? When we got the new prices, it happened the day after we lost the U.S. Open Cup final. Like, the timing couldn't have been worse because everybody was already in a crappy mood. And then, hey, here you go, doubled. Right now, it doesn't seem like the perfect time to be telling us that we're going to get another price increase, especially after.
But Messi might be out, but your team's sitting in first place. They have been the entire season.
And I'm okay with the fact that they
break
doubled
the
their prices.
Supporter Shield record. They might, there's a lot of still ifs around towards the end of the season. If they win the MLS Cup, are you gonna be complaining? Probably not. You'll probably be like, oh, you'll forget about it. Just
100%. You're 100% right.
But that's just how it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, I don't see the reason to increase the price right now. That's my only thing. I wasn't expecting that, and that's the part that I wonder, like, what exactly has changed? How many trophies have we won since the last price increase? Because to my knowledge, it's been 0.
They've only played in 1,
and we didn't win it.
You did. So you definitely did. Yeah.
All right. At this moment, if anybody would like to jump on and call in, well, we can start taking some call-ins. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and if you would like to jump on with us, we'll take your calls. Right there, I put the link in the chat, so you go ahead and go click on that, and you can jump in. For those of you that have never done this before, Chris, and I believe Solana also, we're really big on sports talk radio from a young age. We've been listening to it our whole lives. You call in, right? Ask a question, make a comment, go back and forth a little bit, get off, and then we go from there. So, so we should be expecting that email at some point. I'm assuming in the next 2 hours or so. And I'm bracing myself because I really don't want to be upset about it, but we'll see. And while we wait to see if anybody joins us, tonight, if you haven't already, Battered MLS Fans Show, we're gonna go on at 9:00 tonight. We'll be joined by Cincinnati, Columbus, Philadelphia, and MLS Moose, Solana's friend Will Forbes. We'll be joined by them to talk general MLS. So that should be fun. Last week we had our first episode number 2 tonight. So that should be fun. All right, and let's go into to take our first call. Mr. Kevin Hernandez. Oh, just jumped off. So maybe stage fright. So
well, then I'll take a second to let our listeners also know that we have secured a weekly spot on 560 WQAM, and I'll be and possibly Danny and Chris in the future. I've been joining them.
Solana's on there weekly
on the weekends, yes sir. Talking a little Inter Miami, and that'll be going on for the foreseeable future, either Saturday or Sunday. So definitely be on the lookout for those. And it's actually we do them on StreamYard too. So I got some video, so I'll throw some video out there for you guys today. They're gonna be sending it to me, so definitely tune in.
Optimus Prime said that he's too shy to call in. Optimus Prime, honestly, I was looking forward to hearing your Jamaican accent. So, and then Mitch is asking with Dan Day.
That's right. That's right. I'm with Dan Day. That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So, in our evening shows, we've had a lot of call-ins. I guess the morning, either people are too shy or they're driving to work. So it's okay. Nobody wants to call in the morning. Solana, anything else that you would like to touch on before we head out of here?
No, man. I think we touched on absolutely everything we want to talk about. We talked about season ticket prices. We talked about Leagues Cup. I mean, maybe a little Tigres talk. What do you think is going to happen with Tigres?
I don't know. The whole Tigres thing is, I think the fact that they're going to be playing basically a home game, I think is going to bode well in favor of them. The good thing is that they're going to be on 3 days rest. Even if Puebla isn't a good team, they're going to run out. They have to win that game. I think because of that, I feel a little optimistic. But the showing that we had against Monterrey worries me because we didn't look good against Monterrey. Tigres are one of the better teams in Liga MX. So we'll see. I'm not going in there very optimistic, honestly. The only good thing is that I feel like because we beat Puebla already, we're already in the knockout stage just about. And that makes me feel a little better, right? You're playing almost with house money. Right. So how do you feel about the Tigres?
I mean, I feel more comfortable playing Tigres than I did playing Monterrey. I think this team is completely different from the team that was playing back in March and April. So I'm excited to play Tigres. I'm excited to play somebody who's not an MLS team and somebody who's not one of the weaker Mexican teams, just to see what this team has. Sure. I hope Tata puts the full lineup. And we see what Inter Miami really has in them, because like you said, Tigres is one of the powerhouses in Mexico. They have been for a while now. It's going to be a good game. I think they can win.
We got El Bigote on the line. I'm going to put him on real quick, but don't let me forget that I do want to ask you about the midfield before we get out of here. All right, El Bigote, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Good morning from Atlanta.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Oh, Atlanta. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So with all of this calendar stuff that's going on, do we actually think that he's going to FC Cincinnati?
FC says why? Because of Yedlin?
Because of Yedlin.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to Cincinnati. If they're going to sell him, he's got to be going out of the country. That's my my idea. I don't think they're gonna trade him or sell him to a team within the league. If they do that, unless they get a really, really, really big return. He's clearly one of the better goalkeepers in the league. So I don't see him going to anybody in the MLS. No.
El Bigote, if he doesn't start on Saturday, do you think he's gone?
100%. I thought he was gone the moment that he didn't show up this last Saturday.
Yeah, I also started getting a weird feeling. Even though it's one game, okay, against Puebla, one of the bad teams, okay, maybe. But Saturday?
Yeah, it's just not like him. I don't think he has the caliber to go to Europe. I think he's definitely an MLS goalkeeper, because whenever he's off 100%. Not 50%, not 60%, off 100%. And then when he's on, he's on. He's Europe, I would say, whenever he's on, MLS whenever he's off.
I agree.
I think that Solana's criticism of him with his play with the ball at his feet is what would keep him from being a top-tier European talent. Even though I think he's improved. I don't think he's getting enough credit for his improvement.
I agree. I think he's improved with his speed as well, but he just hasn't improved enough. And CJ Dos Santos just playing that one game the other day showed that with his feet, he's a lot better.
Yeah. He looked a lot more confident whenever he got pressured from Puebla. A lot more confident. Drake seems like he scrambles and tries to get the ball out in a hurry and then makes a stupid mistake.
100%. 100%.
All right, but with anything else?
No, that's it, man.
Man, we appreciate you getting up with us. Atlanta the same time as we are, right? Eastern?
Yeah, 7:51 in the morning.
Okay. So thank you for joining us, man. 7 a.m.
Absolutely.
Still pretty early. All right, man.
Thank you.
I don't see Drake going to another MLS team. I think that he stays with us. But if he doesn't start on Saturday, I think there's something cooking there.
Look, one thing that I thought was really, really interesting. I'm telling you, go back and watch games. His teammates are very iffy on when to pass him the ball. Where the other night, all the players were confident passing the ball to Dos Santos, and it was okay, even one touch. And you can see when Drake is in there again. And I'm not hating on Drake again. I don't like it when people say I'm hating on him because I think he's a great goalkeeper under the pipes, just not good with his feet. And you can see that within the confidence that the team has in the goalkeeper. They like to play with Dos Santos, and they think twice about playing with Drake.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I saw Puebla wasn't pressuring as much as Drake's had to face pressure in the past. I think that's why it was easier to look back when necessary at Dos Santos because there wasn't as much pressure as Drake's faced throughout the year. I don't know. We'll see. And then Janet's asking Drake may leave. No, that's all pure speculation because everybody was so caught off guard with the fact that he didn't start on Saturday that everybody was like, oh my God, it's a transfer window. Right now it's open. What's going on? But it's pure speculation. I don't think he goes anywhere. Now, again, if he doesn't start on Saturday, I know Solana suggested yesterday, hey, why not give Dos Santos the whole Leagues Cup tournament? I mean, Drake was literally the Leagues Cup goalie of the tournament last year. I think that I think this is his chance to repeat. And I would feel a lot better on Saturday with Drake against Tigres than I would against Dos Santos. So
that's a fair point.
We'll see. So before we get out of here, I did want to ask you one quick thing. Toto Aviles comes back Saturday. David Martinez played a good game. He'll probably start. Busquets no longer center back. He gets pushed into the midfield. What are we doing in the midfield?
I'm most likely going Bright, Busquets, Rojas.
Really? Oh, see, I would go Bright, Busquets, and Redondo.
I think I want a little bit more offense in the first half. And I think Matias Rojas gives you a little bit more in between the two lines as more of a media punta, where Redondo might give you a little bit more defensively. a little bit more control, and touching. So maybe you see a Matias Rojas in the first half, and then you can bring in Redondo in the second half to kind of even out the midfield, something like that. But I'm not taking out Bright. I agree. You couldn't pay me to take out Bright. He's the engine right now in the midfield that makes everything go. And with Busquets, we've seen Busquets struggle all year as the lone number 5 when he's in there with two guys who are a little bit more offensive. Mm-hmm. And I think you need to give Bright that number 5 spot and allow Busquets to play a little bit more up and just allow him to be a little bit more magical.
I could see that. Against a good Tigres team, though, I think that I would go with the Redondo route a little more. Somebody that could give me a little more defensively. And I also think that there's a chance that Rojas stays on even if they stay with Redondo. And I think Robert Taylor is the one that sees the pine. I think Robert Taylor is the one that unfortunately suffers because it seems like whenever Tata can't make a decision, it's like, all right, Robert Taylor, come off. And it sucks because Robert Taylor is that guy. But I think that he's the one that gets the short end of the stick often. We have one more caller. We got Prime checking in with us. What's going on, Prime? Oh, Prime, you are on mute.
There you go.
There we go. There we go, Prime. You there, Prime?
Yeah. Morning.
Morning, Prime. What's going on?
What's up? Wagwan.
Is this Optimus
I try
Prime?
go- Yeah, me I try go in a piece of the Jamaican accent.
Oh, okay. There we go. What's going on?
It doesn't know. Respect it up.
What's going on, Prime?
I heard you talking about Kalinda, Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I respect that keeper so much, man. That keeper is so humble, man.
I agree.
So
He
humble.
seems
I
like he's a
love
really
it.
nice. I feel like he looks like he's a nice guy. Very the whole yoga thing, his friendship with Yedlin, and also, in my opinion, it's either him or Robert Taylor the second, obviously after Messi, best player in our team history. In my opinion, I hate the ungratefulness that Solana shows towards Drake.
Yeah, so I just want to say I don't even though the goalkeeper looked more confident, this goalkeeper, I'm not sure of his name.
CJ Dos Santos.
Yes, Santos. But Santos, he looks more confident for real in the goal. But I really, really don't appreciate just throwing Drake under the bus. I don't want us to do that.
I'm with you, Prime. I'm with you, Prime. And you know what? I think that you are in the majority. I think most people don't want to do that. I think it's Solana, Tank, and Chris are the only ones that are on that boat by themselves. I think everybody appreciates Drake from what I'm seeing here in the everybody from what I'm seeing here in the chat.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees with you, Prime. So I agree. Drake, and I think he does get a lot of love from the fan base.
Hey, he is the second captain on the team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has that about him. He really has that character about him, that leadership, and to win. I really like that about him.
I look, Messi, love Messi. I don't think we win last year's Leagues Cup without Messi, and I also don't think we win last year's Leagues Cup without Drake.
Drake, right?
Because
right.
Drake also came up really big in a lot of big spots. So I think those two players were necessary last year.
Yeah, this is why I think we owe him. I think we should. I think we owe him something, some kind of respect. I just don't think we should turn our backs on Drake.
100%. Prime, couldn't thank you enough for calling in and getting to your shyness.
Yeah,
you were awesome. We appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah, guys, because I was shy as hell.
No, man, it was awesome, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, and then let's jump over to Andres. What's going on, Andres?
Hello, folks. I'm a regular Spotify listener of yours. I just want to chime in to say, I think Yannick Bright is probably the most important player we have right now outside of Big Four. It's been a night and day since he joined the team. He was like the missing piece we're missing, and he's bringing a balance to the team that I think no other player does. So he's definitely not the one to leave once Busquets moves to the midfield again.
Andres, I have a question for you. Do you think Bright brings us the same thing that Diego Gomez brought us? Because I feel like we're seeing from Bright what we saw from Diego Gomez a bit, right? I know Bright is a lot more defensive, and he's been a wall back there, like a sweeper. But if you had to choose between Bright and Gomez, who would you start? Because I think that Busquets is solidified his spot, and I'm pretty sure that it would be between Redondo and Bright. But between Gomez and Bright, who would you start?
I personally have a soft spot for Bright, so I would choose Bright every day after Diego Gomez. I think we played without Diego Gomez yesterday, but not yesterday, the other day.
Yes.
And I think we were able to score 2 goals. Of course, Puebla was a weak opponent, but
yeah, for sure.
I think we can replace Diego Gomez. I'm not sure how easy we can replay Yannick Bright.
I love the love that Bright's getting, man. I
agree. He's right on. He's right on. Mm-hmm. I think Bright is irreplaceable today. And one thing that Javi said last night on Battered Herons in Espanol that I don't agree with is he compared Bright to Gregory. And I think that is doing Bright a disservice. I think Bright is miles ahead of Gregory even today.
And he's younger.
Him being a rookie. That's what I'm saying. His skill, his head is on a swivel. I mean, this guy grabs the ball and knows where he's going right away. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how this kid is playing.
Yeah, Gel Gel is saying no. Gomez doesn't do well defensively. I think Gomez does well defensively, but not like Bright. He plays a different position. He's an 8.
He's an 8. Box to box. He's a box to box, and right. Bright is your traditional 5 who's just gonna tear up. Bright is like if you're a fan of Italian soccer, he's your Gattuso. There you go.
Andres, we'll leave you with this. Who would be your midfield once Toto Aviles and David Martinez takes over at center back and Busquets pushes back in the midfield? Who's playing up top, right? Top 3 attackers and 3 in the midfield.
Well, I would still put like Taylor, Suarez, and Messi on top.
Okay.
The midfield, right. I'm just happy I'm not Tata.
Yeah, because there's a lot of options.
And defense, of course, you have Toto Aviles and the new guy from River, probably.
Right.
I would say.
And then Alba and Weigand. Would you go Weigand or Frey? I'm curious because I still want Frey to start over Weigand.
I agree with you. So I'm a kind of new Inter Miami fan. I started joining you Inter Miami like mid last year. So I've never saw
Frey
before, but I think he's been amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I think he's gonna play for the U.S. national men team. Like he's like that good, at least in my eyes. And one thing I want to say before I go is like, how is that we never saw Bright before? Like he only started playing as a starter because we were 2 men down because of a red card, right? That's the only reason he started playing, and he make a good play, a good pass, and we were able to win that game. And since that point on, he's been like in the starters or almost the starters. So why was that the only reason he started playing? Like, is he not good during training? Just a thought. And I'll leave you guys with that.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, Andres. To the point and thank you again, Andres, for joining us. I think, and Salan, you tell me what you think. One, he's a rookie, and he's earning his time. Like he's on the first team, and the midfield is congested on this team. You have Busquets, which has his spot. You have Redondo, and you have Diego Gomez, which are U22 initiative players, which are basically just young DPs. So those 3 players already have solidified spots on the team. Then you have Kremaki and David Ruiz, which also, although they're not veterans, they were with the team last year. So I think that he had to find his way into playing time, right? And when he did, he made his mark, and I don't think he's going anywhere. But I think that that's why we took so long to see him. What do you think, Solana?
You nailed it on the head. I don't know if you remember, but in preseason during the World Tour that everybody hated, he played a couple games, and I remember seeing him there, and I was like, "Whoa, this kid has it." And learning under Busquets is gonna make him a lot better. And I think you've seen that. And I don't think he was ready at the beginning of the year because he was so young, and coming in to play as a rookie. It's not that easy, especially. We saw it last year with Diego Gomez coming in as essentially a rookie in the MLS, and he didn't have a great first year. He had to adapt himself and all that. So it's very tough to just be inserted into a lineup, especially a lineup with legends, and play how he's playing. So I think the first few months in practice, the first couple months learning how to play with them really helped him out. And he said it in interviews. He feels comfortable playing with them. He doesn't feel like he's playing with legends or anything. He just feels like he's just one of them, which I think is really, really key for a player. Especially we've talked about it with Diego Gomez, that we feel like he was a little maybe, awestruck with Messi last year. And that's maybe why he didn't play that well. So look, nothing negative to say about Bright. Just unbelievable.
Dennis, please hit us with the like, even if you dislike Solana.
You're not the only one.
What is Frey's position? Saw him right fullback, midfield. Last year, Frey was a jack of all trades. He is a center back. That's what he came to us as. That's what he was supposed to be playing, my understanding, right? Last year, he played center back, but we also saw him at right back last year. We even saw him at defensive midfield. So he is a jack of all trades because he is good with the ball at his feet. He is great defensively, and they need to figure out how to get him on the pitch because I think that he does good in many aspects. So I'm a big Frey fan, I should have worn my Frey shirt today. And that's just what he is. He's a jack of all trades, and I would love to see him at center back. But now we got David Martinez and Toto Aviles, so I don't know if we'll see him. But like you said, you saw him get into the midfield last game, and Optimus Prime here, Solana has my respect. So there you go. I think that's about it. We are a little over an hour. Solana, any final words here?
No, man, I love this show, bro. I love Cafecito with the Herons. It's the best way to wake up in the morning. We're gonna have to talk about the future. You and I talked about that if we're gonna continue it, or if we're gonna move to nighttime. But I think I'm willing to make the effort, Danny, to wake up a little earlier to get it done, because I really enjoy waking up like this and talking about football in the morning.
Yeah, for those that are obviously not everybody knows, I have the summer off. I am an educator, so I work in the school system. So I have the summer off. So that's why Cafecito with the Herons has been a possibility over the summer. But starting next week, I will no longer have the summer off. So I was talking to Solana that if we were to do this, it'd have to be a little earlier, probably 6 a.m. I don't know if that's too early for a lot of people listening. Obviously, I know we have a lot of people that are from different parts of the world, so maybe not on them. But if Solana's up for it, we'll see. Trukutu says, when do you guys do your call-ins? Well, we just had a few people call in. We're trying to do it every episode moving forward. So we'll see. But usually from now on, but we started slowly, right? We did it one episode here, one episode there, because we weren't sure what to expect. But I think it's gone very well. We appreciate everybody that's called in. Nobody's been dumb and said anything stupid. So we really appreciate you guys. And, so we're going to try to do it every episode, even if it's just for a little bit. And Trukutu says, I missed it. Yes, you missed it. We're about to get off. But we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, Thursday night. We actually have a Tigres podcast joining us to preview Saturday's game. So we'll be joined by a Tigres podcast on Thursday night to preview Saturday's game. So we'll get an inside look at what their team is, what their strengths are, all that other stuff that we always do on the preview show. So check us out on Thursday night also. And again, that'll be the first time that we take call-ins with a guest on. So I am a little worried to see how this goes, but we'll see. But that should be fun also. So make sure that you join us for that. And then please allow a call-in. I feel better contributing that way now. Yes, from now on, we'll be taking call-ins every episode. So. And then one last question. What do you do in school? I'm no longer a teacher. I'll leave it at that. So I'm no longer in the classroom. But I'm not going to get into the specifics. All right. If you have nothing else, Solana, we'll end it here. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. If you weren't able to watch live, we did this at 7 a.m. Cafecito with the Herons. I think it's done well. I think people enjoy it. We want to try to keep going. So let's see if we can keep this going. And for those of you in the chat, as always, Thank is in California, Jamaica. We had France. Everybody that joined in, we appreciate you guys hanging out. Peaches in the UK. It's really fun. Talk to you misspelled it, Dennis. You misspelled it. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we hope to keep doing it every Tuesday morning, but we'll see. And Trukutu is from Astoria, Queens. There you go. Not too far from where I'm from.
Where my sister used to live. Nice.
There you go. So we'll be back. And don't forget, tonight, Battered MLS fans, if you haven't already, get on, subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. We didn't realize when we first started doing the show a couple of years ago what a difference it makes. So please do us that favor. Like that if you'd like to sacrifice of 4 hours of sleep to get on here and talk football with you in the morning. So, and shout out to South Africa, Rodrigue, joining us from South Africa. It's very, very cool. And that's it. Let me stop wasting time here. We appreciate you guys. And until the next one, have a good one.
See ya.